All right, welcome back, Harmless Dave. You know, the last video gone, this video is kind of a replacement video. I'm going to blame what happened during the last video on Vladimir Putin because he's got nowhere to ship his vodka these days. And I've been receiving the shipments here at my beautiful home in Southwest Florida. So I want to thank Vladimir for helping me out here. Again, I'm just going to redo the video and do the best I can with it and try to be coherent. America's leaders display an FU attitude toward the people, says Tulsi Gabbard, former presidential candidate who went on with Jesse Waters. This is what Tulsi said in the video. There is so much devastation and incredible suffering that's going on in Ukraine right now. The world needs to condemn Putin for his actions. The thing here is that our leaders really have this FU attitude and they just don't care. We see this FU attitude in our domestic policy here at home, where they say FU to parents who are concerned about what their kids are being taught in their schools, FU to Americans who want to make their own decisions as it relates to their health and the thing. Then you see this same attitude and mindset also extending to their decisions on our foreign policy. Now, what she's alluding to there is pretty obvious. Do we really decide to cut off Russian oil when our gas prices are already stupendously high? Yes, according to the president of the United States. That's what we do because that's who we are. It's our values. Don't find our own energy. Let's find someone else's energy. But then when things don't go well, we cut off the other source of energy. When are they going to boycott the Saudi Arabian oil? When are they going to cut that off, right? Because aren't they involved in this little thing going on in Yemen? And they have been for quite some time. So there's a bit of a contradiction there. And I would say this to Tulsi Gabbard about condemning Putin, right? So there is a reason Putin is doing what he's doing. But I think Tulsi Gabbard here, who came out early on and said, you know what, let's not talk about NATO and Ukraine. Can we just not have Ukraine involved in NATO? I remember I watched her interview with Sean Hannity, who again, Neocon Incorporated, literally paid off by Pfizer. Literally in the documents, they sent money to Newsmax and Fox News and everybody else. So again, if you're looking for a news source that's not corrupt, you have to go like independent. And that's why they banned RT America, because they were funded partly, at least, by the Russian government. So you can't have that. I mean, what you need is influence from a source you can trust, like Pfizer or Moderna or the military industrial complex. I mean, that's way better than being funded by the Russian government, right? So, you know, Tulsi has it kind of right, though, here. And she does mention that everything seems to point to the idea that these elites, they don't care about us, right? They don't care. Now, Tulsi Gabbard is one of the better politicians out there right now, for sure, even though she doesn't hold public office, which is a shame, because she would be a great anything, great senator, great governor, great president, right? Some people are saying, well, you know, if Trump runs again, or maybe Ron DeSantis and Tulsi Gabbard, be interesting. Yeah, I mean, you want the populist left to kind of coalesce with the populist right. And I think that's what that ticket would be. And I know there are a lot of people on the left now that don't like Tulsi Gabbard because she's come out as a culture warrior to some degree, and they don't care about the culture. They're just happy with all of the cultural chaos that's happening. And that's adding to the misery, that's adding to the confusion. And if you're not a culture warrior, I get it, because if you're a decent human being, what do you care if somebody is an idiot, right? But it affects everything that's happening in this country, because again, the government wasn't made for a bunch of losers. It wasn't made for people like Kamala Harris, who did certain things to get where she got. All right. And people already know what I'm talking about there. It's an easy one. And that takedown that Tulsi did on Kamala Harris in the Democratic debates was epic. It's because she used information, she used knowledge, and Kamala Harris, she just talks in platitudes. They sent Kamala Harris over to Europe, right? To do what? Like, they sent her to the border, the southern border well, actually, she didn't go. They just made her border czar. And she believes that, yeah, there are borders. Borders are real things. She says the most profound, phrases, these platitudes, and even the liberals in the media are looking at her going, at least be a good liar. Remember what they said about Bill Clinton? He was a good liar, an unusually good liar. And Kamala Harris isn't. And Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have to lie, because she gets this. She is the Encyclopedia Britannica of foreign policy compared to pretty much everybody out there. Now, I don't necessarily agree with every bit of her take on Russia, Ukraine, but she's far better than most people. At least she understands that there was a geopolitical component to this, and there were negotiations that could have been done that weren't, and now here we are. She condemns what Putin is doing, like most people are condemning. Some people are saying, I can understand his point. I'm not into war, so I don't like his point. And the more I investigate this with the bioweapons laboratories that were admitted, by the way, they were admitted. Yes, there are, what did they say? There are bioweapons facilities. And we're looking into that. And then little boy Marco Rubio, asks a question like, so do you think the Russians are going to make it seem like, Ukraine and the United States are collaborating to create bioweapons? And of course, the government hack says, yes, of course, little Marco. Thank you for setting that question up for me. Thanks for putting it on the tee so I can just knock it right out of the park. I mean, these people, they work together to create a narrative. I mean, he's up there supposedly questioning this woman about the extent of what's happening. It's actually rather entertaining, but it is very frustrating because you have nobody in the government advocating for you. Hence, this is why Tulsi Gabbard says it's a FU, it's an FU mentality. And she's 100% right. All of the policies that are important to the American people. FU on energy. Well, we'd like to buy everyone an electric car, but we can't do that. So FU. Sorry about the gas going up to $5 a gallon. We'd like to help you. FU, there is no solution to this problem. You're just going to have to, and this is the other thing. Well, Americans are willing, really? Did you? And they did a poll, supposedly Reuters. And I explained to you the other day about how Reuters and Pfizer, and then you've got Reuters and Pfizer with one guy who basically runs both organizations or has his hands in both organizations, right? You've got that. And then you've got Pfizer on paper admitting that, yeah, they influenced everybody for 2 years to promote their products. And we all were wondering why we were seeing so many ads for Pfizer for every television program. Of course, they were paying everybody off. So obviously it goes deeper than that because they have an agenda, and their agenda is supposed to be everybody else's agenda, and then you're supposed to believe that they have your best interests at heart. It's really entertaining, but it's actually very bad for not only the United States, but the entire planet. So we won't take Russian oil. I guess we're only taking about 10%, right? It's only about 10% of our energy consumption, just 10. Like, we needed more reduction in energy. Look, again, you got to ramp this up. You have to ramp it up. I know there are going to be some greenies out there that are not happy. I don't know if Biden will do it. Maybe he'll do it behind the scenes and he won't tell anybody, because everything's politically motivated. That's why you're no longer wearing a face diaper, and you're no longer being instructed or mandated to do many of the things that we thought were coming and never going away, just disappeared all at the same time. Kind of like a natural immunity came along, right, and fixed the problem. I don't know if that's true or not, but in any event, here we are, and we're going to new narratives. By the way, if you think the whole health crisis is over, it's over for now. Mark my words, it will be back. The war right now is far more interesting and far more frightening. A lot of people don't understand, though, a no-fly zone, which people are clamoring for, is basically asking for World War III. So Tulsi Gabbard, one of the rare peacemongers, yeah, she gets on Fox News a lot. Am I suspicious of that? Yes and no. I mean, she needs somewhere to go, and she can communicate what she believes in, and they allow her to do that. So that's good. I don't think she could go on CNN, right, or MSNBC. She may want to try some independent media, but I think she's swinging for the fences. You know what I mean? She wants the most exposure for her time, and she's getting it. She's been on with Tucker Carlson a lot. Is she running for anything? I don't know. I think she should. I really do. We need more people in government, in politics, who might be able to turn this thing around. I wonder if the thing can be turned around. I really do. I'm starting to get very black-pilled at this moment. And it's not that I'm against all these different political movements. It's just that I wonder if anybody is actually listening to what the people want, whether they're independent, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever. Okay, I don't think anybody's really paying that much attention to ideas. This is all a show, and we're all stuck in this show on repeat play. And they go from one crisis to another. And this is an FU moment to everybody. I mean, we had the trucker problem north of the border. We had truckers go to DC after the fact. I don't think it really made much of a difference. If they had gone like 4 or 5 months ago, that would have been something, but they went when they decided to get rid of everything, and too little too late. Although, you know, I'm with them in spirit. It's just, again, this government doesn't care about them. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. And we all have to come to that conclusion, regardless of where we are politically. We have to get to that place where we understand that it's us against them. It's the ruling class against the underclass, the deplorable class, whatever you want to call it, those with fringe views, an unacceptable minority with fringe views, according to Castro, Trudeau up in Canada. So in any event, that's my video. Not as exciting as the one I got rid of, but you know what, folks? I'm waiting for my next shipment of vodka, and I promise I'll be a good boy. I'm just going to tell it straight, and I'll have even more fun next time we meet.